Hi, my name is Craig Stiers. Thank you for joining this session. Today we're going to talk about IoT, how it's driving value for businesses and where AWS can offer a platform to support your IoT strategy through our services and the broader set of AWS offerings. So, what are some of the trends we see and how the market is investing and innovating? First, as we look more deeply into IoT solutions, there's an ecosystem of technologies that come together, like the connected devices, the networking, the processing platform, applications, and more. Of these, the platform investments are growing the most rapidly. The second trend we're seeing is a broad expansion of the types of things that are being connected. Estimates put the number of devices at 30 billion in 2020, just a few years from now. As platform technology is growing and maturing, it's opened the market up for an increasing number of small solution providers. These solutions are often good at a certain function, but may not be built with standards in mind, making them harder to build into a larger investment strategy. Finally, we see a shift in our customers from the "what is this" to a more evolved view of "how do we do this right?" This is great and indicates some maturity in the market and brings us one step closer to a more broad-scale adoption and usage. So it's important to understand what's driving this maturing of the market and enabling organizations to start building. A perspective provided by industry analyst firm IDC highlights some leading indicators in the IoT market. Businesses are looking to make these solutions part of their transformation, not just seeing them as pet projects. IoT is now integral to any digital transformation strategy and is a first-class citizen in the vision of many organizations. There's been a significant uptick in the number of connected devices over the past 12 to 18 months. In fact, this pace of growth now dwarfs the expansion of the smartphone devices in the market. The cloud platform has also matured, enabling more sophisticated IoT solutions to be built with less heavy lifting. This is an area where we at Amazon have been focusing our efforts. As the platform scales, it makes it possible for organizations to unlock more value from their investments. At the center of this is the advancements of analytics providing abilities to efficiently uncover insights from data that these devices capture. Something we should look at is that the IoT market broadly splits into two categories of implementations. The ones that we may be most familiar with are the consumer-based IoT applications. These would be things like wearable devices, smart home devices, and other lifestyle devices. However, industrial IoT applications are far more mature and a significantly larger market, for now at least. Connected machines for predictive maintenance, safety control, and autonomous systems are investments that directly impact the capabilities of a business. Manufacturing, as an industry, is leading the way for industrial IoT. This isn't surprising because manufacturing organizations have been using connected devices for some time and have developed more mature use cases. Machine-to-machine, or M2M, has long been a part of manufacturing. Now, with IoT, the data from M2M connections can be analyzed to improve operational efficiency, as well as driving other optimizations across the business. Now, to really get started on the IoT journey, the question needs to be answered. What will be the value and what aspect of my business should I be targeting? At a macro level, the driving factors will be organizationally specific, but broadly speaking, we've seen three approaches that most impact a customer's IT strategy. First, the need to optimize operations, increasing yield and taking out costs from the manufacturing process. Reduction in downtime and waste is a significant boost to productivity and profit. These projects can start with predictive maintenance. Analyzing sensor data over time can help move beyond detecting when thresholds are exceeded and start to detect anomalies before they develop into full-blown outages. Second, the focus on digital or economic transformation. This is in alignment to looking at an existing product or service and enabling it with IoT for, say, monitoring or command and control to deliver a new or connected experience. This can also lead to a more transformative impact, such as disrupting cost models and moving traditional CapEx-based offerings to a more flexible as-a-service type offering. Finally, with delighting customers, this is where an IoT initiative is driven with the goal of creating new or disruptive offerings and taking a first-mover advantage in the market. If these businesses can move quickly and use platforms that remove some of this heavy lifting, they can reach the market quicker with a smart device or service. One thing is constant with these use cases and driving factors, and that's the need for data. IoT is fundamentally about capturing new data streams and creating new insights that drive new behaviors. Take, for example, the Amazon fulfillment center that you see in this picture. These robotic Kiva devices are all connected to each other and to a central hub. Now, although the hub is responsible for telling the robots where to go and which racks to move, the robots have an understanding of how to navigate the shop floor and how to coordinate movement with each other to avoid accidents and damage to inventory. They also have a significant amount of instrumentation that allows them to safely move heavy racks of inventory and to know when it's time to drive themselves back to charge. By having an automated fulfillment center, Amazon is able to reduce the time from click to ship and significantly reduce human errors, delivering new experiences such as very fast delivery for Amazon customers. So, before we dive into the deployment models and approaches to developing your own IoT strategy, let's talk to the design of the AWS IoT platform and how it supports key requirements for developing solutions. The AWS IoT platform consists of two core components. First, the cloud platform captures and processes events and messages from connected devices. There are a set of integrated services within the AWS cloud that provide a secure entry point for your incoming data through the IoT gateway and a channel for them feeding that data into a number of tools to enable inside transformation and rules or actions. Inside the IoT service are core functions to handle critical components, such as a device registry, to ensure every IoT device that connects to the service is a trusted, known device with a pre-shared key. All inbound connections to the service are sent over secure encrypted channels using SSL and TLS. We also support a concept called device shadows. This service maintains a known state of your devices in the event of a network disconnection or service interruption. This enables you to write applications and services that can communicate and interact with devices regardless of connection state. This greatly simplifies the coding effort and takes away some of that heavy lifting that normally would be required to build these kinds of IoT services. Now, lastly, on the cloud side, we have the rules engine, a complex logic processor that allows you to create actions and outcomes based on the device events. For example, you could create a detailed machine learning prediction model and then have a rule evaluating the incoming event data to determine if the prediction is true or false. Connecting to the cloud platform, we have two software development kits, or SDK, that allow you to easily build IoT things or gateways to enable real-world devices to connect into the AWS cloud in a managed, secure way. We have the AWS IoT SDK, which supports a range of languages and operating systems, onto which you can install the SDK and enable devices to connect directly to the AWS IoT service. For example, a Raspberry Pi device or an Intel Edison development board. The Aws Greengrass Platform is another SDK that extends the IoT SDK to include a fully executable Lambda platform. This is a more functional platform that can be used to build cloud-compliant gateway appliances for scenarios where you may have data that needs to be processed and decisions made at the edge. For example, highly real-time environments, such as with vehicles or with connected medical devices. While IoT is largely driven by the capture of data, it's also important to understand that this data will come in many formats. Having a feature-rich and robust platform like AWS can help manage some of that complexity. Depending on your use case, infrastructure, and needs, your data could be anything from terabytes of historical log data to short event-driven messages. The AWS platform provides services to capture all different types of data streams at any scale at a low cost in a simple and consistent way. By providing these platform capabilities of an IoT solution, we can help you reduce the complexity of your project, reduce some of the heavy lifting, and enable a single data collection point across multiple streams. To give you an example of a typical IoT solution at a high level, the diagram here shows how multiple data streams, in this case events and real-time telemetry, can be pulled into the AWS platform, integrated into a single data lake, and then leveraged across a range of services to provide both real-time reporting and end-user interaction, as well as feeding a machine learning engine to enable predictions. While we provide a core service to enable messaging from IoT devices at scale, it's really the full range of AWS Cloud Platform services that pave the way for the development of feature-rich, robust solutions. The smarts of the solution is enabled by AWS Analytics and AI services. Applications within industrial IoT would include yield optimization efforts, and consumer IoT would focus on creating unique customer experiences. There are many exciting customer examples, of which I'll share a few. First, let's look at one of the partners in this conference, Intel. As we approach any IoT solution, there's always a need for a compute platform, either a lightweight device for testing functionalities or a more capable, small form factor device to build an industrial hardware gateway, say, for a factory floor. Intel has a range of reference hardware that is certified to work with the AWS IoT services and SDKs. In addition, they provide key services such as device hardware management through their Helix platform and can scale from small deployments up to millions of devices. We have a range of customers already building and developing solutions on the AWS IoT service across a range of markets. Let's dive deeper into a couple of these solutions to give you a sense of the value and unique experiences they have created. A customer of ours, iRobot, was already in the market of connected devices with their smart home cleaning devices. They had been investigating enabling IoT into the devices for some time through their own homegrown solution. The work AWS undertook with iRobot was to find a better way to deal with the scale of the challenge that they would have when they had sold 1 million of these connected devices. It was pretty apparent that the homegrown solution would be a significant management burden to them as they scaled up. Managing device security, networking, and data platform costs was heavy lifting that the AWS IoT platform could provide them out of the box. Not only that, but by building out the service on the AWS IoT platform and taking advantage of our API model, they were able to extend the service beyond just IoT telemetry for R&D purposes. They were able to extend overall functionality and create a new customer experience through a modern app. Norton has been in the business of security for many years. When Norton decided to create a new IoT-enabled home router, it was critical that the underlying platform was secure and scalable to the millions of customers that they were targeting. By working with Norton to develop a core IoT messaging platform that was secure, we could help them extend that security all the way down to the silicon and hardware. We partnered with the chipset provider, Microchip, and this enabled Norton to accelerate the hardware development time by taking advantage of our out-of-the-box experience of IoT hardware and connectivity, allowing them to focus their development efforts on the functionality of the product itself. There's a lot of appetite in the market to build IoT solutions, but those are going homegrown or finding that it can be a very complex undertaking. So how can we help simplify the process and help you get your products and services out the door more quickly? Through our experience and engagement with customers to this point, we've seen some approaches that really help customers succeed. Start small. IoT projects will often grow out of manageable size to start to layer on the potential impact and introduce more stakeholders. Focus on a single product or outcome you're looking to measure and prototype, test, and evaluate. With a range of AWS free tier services and full support for low-cost development boards such as Raspberry Pi, Arduino, and Intel Edison, it's easy and low cost for your IoT use case to be tested and evaluated. When you're ready to deploy in the real world, as much as possible, find and use specialists, partners, and service providers who can bring key elements of the solution together. IoT solutions involve many components, including the hardware, network, cloud, and devices. In a moment, which we'll talk about more about this design approach. Focus on the outcome, not the innovation. Too often we've seen these projects get stuck as science projects without a business goal, consuming significant time and money up front on identifying and tuning the perfect hardware or sensor. Work backwards from the problem you're trying to solve and only spend time on the hardware once you're clear on the scope of the experience that you'd like to deliver. The IoT market is still evolving and there are a number of standards to consider. But for core services, leverage standard models for security, such as X509, and messaging, such as MQTT, and don't try to reinvent the wheel. As much as possible, focus your efforts on the application-level functions. From the perspective of actually running and executing a team to build your IoT strategy, try to separate the team from day-to-day operations. Enable them to focus only on potential what-ifs, and not be constrained by the existing processes. This team should also look to include representation from across the business. IoT is key to ensure that the platform is sustainable in the long term, but operations and line of business are closer to the realities of the business and the issues that you're looking to impact. When we think about picking the right starting point, there are a number of points to consider. Some of them are provided here as discussions that you can begin with. If you're building a completely new solution or product, some of the details need to be worked through, like data models and hardware design. If you're modernizing and migrating an existing solution, you might want to consider the operational aspects of a migration more thoroughly. What will be the hidden cost of migration? What will be the benefits of no longer being tied to old systems? Are there technology commitments that need to be worked around? And finally, if you're working on the relevance of IoT as part of your competitive strategy, this is your big opportunity to pick investments that transform your business versus running down a path of rudderless experimentation. Finding the best way to incorporate this as part of a broader digital strategy and get good metrics around business goals. Once you've landed on an IoT project that you want to roll out at scale, this design framework provides a good starting model for you to capture the relevant data points and, more importantly, that you assign the appropriate level of focus and investment to the right dimensions of your solution. For each piece of the solution, hardware, firmware, network, for example, you assess the importance, impact, and needs across the key design aspects: user experience, business impact, and security, just to name a few. This upfront investment in time and resources is important in setting a course that will deliver the results you want and reduce your risk of wasted resources, time and money. So in closing, let's look at a couple of considerations that can help you on your journey. A culture of innovation is very important. An agile development framework with small, incremental, user-validated changes will help keep the focus on the business outcomes while prototyping your products and services. Using the AWS IoT service can help remove some of the heavy lifting by providing core building blocks for creating your solutions. The AWS IoT service and the broader AWS platform provide you with the core infrastructure you will need to deliver a secure, scalable, and robust solution. You can focus your resources on designing the functionality of the solution. That's the value add, and it's unique to your business. Now, I'd like to share with you an exciting example of one of our customers who has already started on this journey.
Using the AWS, my main job is really better and easier. I can manage all the things remotely from my laptop, anywhere in the world. My name is Gorakot Wongpaisan Singh. I'm Assistant General Manager from Toyota Tsusho Electronics, Thailand. Our company has been established in 2005. We provide 3 functional business units: the wise trading business unit for automotive customers, the embedded software development, and the contents business unit. I'm in charge of the connected contents business unit. We provide the data, those were processed in the cloud system to the car. So in the near future, when the car connect their own information to the cloud system, we analyze those raw data into traffic flows data. T-Square is the traffic information broadcasting system which was launched in 2012. So far we have 50,000 taxis in the system. And we know that in the near future it will be millions number of the car that will connect to the system. So we need to find the cloud solution to support the scale out and scale in. When we investigate cloud technology providers, we use 3 KPIs. The first one it is the cost. The second one it is the value that we can provide. And the third one it is the reliability. When we compare the 3 KPI together, AWS is best. From day one with AWS, we use ELB, we use EC2 instance, we use DB instance, and S3 storage to store the user data. DB instance, we use it to save the load network information. And in the EC2, we use it as to implement the algorithm on the server. The real-time analysis is very important. When the IoT business is happening, the huge number of the sensor data will coming up to the server. So we have to level up the performance of the server, and Kinesis help us a lot. By using the Kinesis technology, we can power up our system up to 2 million transaction rate, better than the current version to support the new IoT business. Last year, we started thinking about to reduce the cost. So we shift from the conventional system to the solid-state S3, and the cost is huge reduced. Totally 35% we can achieve, and that is very huge cost reduction. Our engineers, they love to do the new things. Because AWS keep providing the new function, the new feature, I can keep them challenging the new idea based on the AWS cloud solution. AWS is the technology enhancer for us to keep innovating the new technology, the new contents to our customer.
So that brings us to a close of this session. If you are like so many of our customers which are leveling up in this area, I hope this session was useful for you. If after today you're wanting to ramp up your AWS capabilities, there are several options available to you. To gain more confidence and hands-on experience with AWS, watch our instructional videos and explore the self-paced labs. You can also attend our instructor-led classes by qualified AWS instructors and learn how to design, deploy, and operate highly available, cost-effective, and secure applications on AWS. And finally, remember to validate your technical expertise with AWS certifications. Do remember to provide feedback on today's event so that we can improve the event experience for you in the future. With that, I would like to thank you for attending AWS Innovate.